Talon's about to get the snip.
Hope this is the right one. Boom. Fast mode. What's going on, everyone? Back with another episode of Stuff and Things. I'm super excited for today's video because this is something that I've been looking at for quite a long time, but never pulled the trigger on it because I didn't have a garage. I didn't really have a place to keep it other than in the van. You guys know I'm into electric vehicles. I've checked out my buddy's Tesla. I've been doing electric skateboard reviews for a long time now. Of course, one wheels and all sorts of electric transportation. So today, right behind me, we've got not one, but two Sur Ron X Black editions. Now I know what you might be thinking, Talon, why do you need two Sur Rons? I don't. One of them is this guy's right here. Perfect timing. So Mike and I we've been looking at Sur Rons for a while. I've been putting one in and out of my cart for the past 2 years probably, and finally pulled the trigger on one. Told Mike, he's like, I think I'll get one too, and then we'll just go on Sur Ron adventures together. What's cool about them is that they're super light. You can probably just pick them up yourself and throw them into the back of a truck. And we decided today we're gonna have a little bit of a build party. So this isn't really an instructional how-to video, but I'm gonna walk you through some of the steps of us putting these things together.
It's a build-off.
So these bikes came to us both delivered yesterday, and they had all of this packaging on. Foam, plastic wrap, zip ties. It was packaged pretty good, and it was actually packaged on a pallet. So I removed all that stuff, kind of boring to watch. One thing that I will give you a tip on is when you are unwrapping the forks and the rear suspension, actually, they are held together. Hi, Miley. They're held together with these little kind of like ratchet straps. So before you get too far, it is good to loosen those. That way the forks can uncompress and then the rear shock can uncompress. And then you can go ahead and take everything else off. So when this is connected to the pallet, it's actually in a piece of wood, like the front axle. So you have to loosen these up and kind of pull that out to get it off. I just kind of broke the wood, and then after the fact figured out the best way to do it. So a few of the things we're gonna do, it's basically together. I already removed the battery and charged it up. Right over here, big old battery. They do make bigger ones though, if you wanna go a little faster. Assembly is going to be getting the front wheel on, the handlebars, the light. There is a little front fairing here. They include some tools. And the only other thing is the foot peg over here. So setting these things up is gonna be pretty easy, and I guess I will bring you guys along for the journey. All right, first thing I'm gonna do is remove this axle again. I actually put it back together after removing it from the pallet because I wanted to show you guys something that I guess is probably normal for these, but there are two caps. I'm gonna remove this one side. This side's already out, and I'm actually gonna be tightening this while pulling it over. So the one thing that I noticed was that when this is out, the forks don't line up perfectly, which is kind of a weird thing. Watch this. You'll see this one probably shoot down. Actually, it's not as bad as it was. So I'm gonna put this axle through the front wheel, line the brake up. Good enough for me. Next up, handlebars. These are gonna be put on just like a mountain bike, and this will probably be the first thing that I actually change. I think I'll probably want bars that are a little bit higher, but we'll see how it feels. Now the bar came with the left side grip already installed, and I'm gonna assume they have that installed at the correct angle. So because of that, I'm just going to center up the bars and just kind of position them where it feels right. Probably about there. So now that I got the bars where I want them, I think everything is snugged up. The screen can actually just kind of rotate on its own. So I got the brake lever where I want it. This I could probably tighten up once I figure out where I actually want it. Yeah. Next up, the headlight. And I'm gonna try to clean up these wires somehow. So I just took that little rubber thing and put them together. Just gotta make sure you got full turn of motion. front fender should be good, but a lot of people end up replacing the rear fender, and we'll talk about all of that stuff more once this thing is built and we can go for a little ride. Getting close to the final step. You gotta install the right foot peg. These ship without it installed, just to keep the overall footprint of the bike smaller, I guess. So another mod that a lot of people do is they replace these stock foot pegs with, I believe, from some Suzuki or something like that. Gets you a little bit wider of a peg. They're probably more comfortable. This would be much easier with a socket. I don't know why I'm using the included tools. Much easier. They also include this little number plate thing, which I guess I'll throw on for now. I don't know. Does that look dumb? Yeah, forget that. And just like that, we're pretty much done. You drop in the battery. You charge your battery? I did. Boom. 100% battery. All right, headlights on. All right, so they are together. Mike's already getting rid of the warning stickers because stickers are lame. Install time, getting it out of the box and setting it up. I think getting it out of the box took about 30 minutes and then getting it all set up and together another 30 minutes. So you could go from it arriving at your door to riding in about an hour, maybe a little bit quicker. So if you guys have never seen these before, they are called Sur Rons. Segway also makes another version. These are like the China version, even though Segway is Chinese too, because they're owned by Ninebot. Yeah, so these are a lot cheaper. They used to be about $3,600. Right now the price is a little bit higher because they're kind of surging in popularity. But essentially, it's an electric dirt bike, weighs about 110 pounds, and I don't know. I've ridden some in the past. I know Mike has ridden one here and there, but we're gonna get into some trouble on these if I had to guess.
Right in between like a traditional e-bike and like an electric dirt bike, basically. So they're kind of more like an electric pit bike in a sense.
So the only difference between my bike and Mike's is that I didn't do any upgrades. I just got the regular chain on there, which is pretty damn tight. And then Mike opted for the upgraded belt drive version. So he's got a belt on here, which may last longer than a chain. I'm not sure. Yeah, so less maintenance on the belt. And right now, these are limited to probably like 25 miles an hour. However, everyone who knows about Sur Rons knows about the wire cut mod. So we're gonna go take these things for a quick spin, get a feel for them, come back, tighten and adjust anything that might need to be adjusted. And then maybe we'll switch into like moto vlog mode and we'll go for a little cruise.
12 seconds later.
Talon's about to get the snip.
Hope this is the right one. Boom. Fast mode. All right, guys, we're out here. We did a little bit of a test ride on the Sur Rons, and now we're going to find some dirt. It's like weird because I ride motorcycles and mountain bikes. Mike rides mountain bikes and some two-wheeled stuff here and there, but this is like so in between, especially because it's electric. You get torque all the time. So I'm just gonna go cruise around back here and see what we can find. Instant wheelies. We're riding in sport mode with the cable cut, obviously. And now, since there's no shifting, no clutch or anything, this right here is my rear brake. This one over here is my front brake. Can we go in that field? Maybe. So these suspension components are essentially mountain bike components. You can definitely beef them up, and the aftermarket support for these things, you can do a whole hell of a lot to them, make them even faster. I tested the top speed. My miles per hour was reading 47, and we tested it next to the Grom. The Grom was reading out about 50 or 51, so it's definitely not slow for a little bike. It's got plenty of power from my perspective. Ooh. Is that an abandoned car? I don't know. Hello, is anyone in there? Yep.
definitely a guy in there. All right, so we're in some sand. We got like dirt bike-esque tires on this thing already. You can upgrade the wheels and put actual dirt bike tires on, which would be pretty cool. I'm gonna ride this thing pretty mixed though. Mike and I got these things to basically bring on adventures, especially in the vans. We could throw them on the tacos too, but there's a lot of times where you're camping in really cool areas and then the only way to explore the local trails is to take the vehicle that you got there in, or to take a mountain bike, go on a hike, something like that. So we'll be able to throw these on the back of whatever vehicle we're taking out and just kind of rip around. Like I mentioned, I've been looking at Sur Rons for a little while. Ooh, the grip's actually pretty good on this thing. I was looking at Sur Rons for a little while, and then after taking the Grom to Moab, that's when I was really like, okay, I need something dedicated to off-road. What you think? I want to go find some jumps. People are shooting shotguns out here. Ooh, this place is kind of trashed. Oh, right there. I want to make sure there's no nails down here, or hepatitis needles. Straight up, straight down. Woo! This thing's light enough where it's almost like an e-bike, but you can kind of flick it around, use the throttle to get out of stuff. So we've been riding for a little while now. We actually went out and got lunch, and we're at 51%. Probably super hard to see on the GoPro, but I think there's a little bit of a battery sag because before you could bring up a wheelie like that super easy. So the torque seems to drop a tiny bit, but still fast. Still a whole lot of fun. Woo! Need some berm action over here. Suspension does have some adjustment to it. I dialed mine up to be a little bit harder. It was super squishy in the beginning, but kind of like the way that it feels right now. Could be a little bit more firm for sand and stuff like that, but oh man, these things are gonna be so much fun. Dude, I can't wait till we take these on a trip.
Yeah.
I think there's another dirt trail down here. Let's go check it. Now, for those of you who have maybe never heard of a Sur Ron before, they're not technically street legal. There are some things that you can do in certain areas to make them kind of streetable, but I wouldn't recommend a bike like this for like a commuter, although there are people who do it. They sort of set them up as like a supermoto, whatever. I bought this just from the perspective of it's going to be super fun, easy to tote around. Just like when I took the Grom out to Moab, there's just so many things that you can do with it, depending on the battery too, I guess. So I'm riding like full out right now in sport mode. It says I'm doing about 42, 43. It's comfortable. Going any faster than this would probably get a little bit squirrely, just given the size of the tires and everything on here. But it's comfortable, fun, quick, light, flickable. I'm digging it a lot. Like I said, I've been looking at these things for years. Two of my friends from back home picked them up and they tried to get me to get one and just never happened. I went to visit my buddy Trent Palmer, another YouTuber. He rips these things like crazy. He's got like a little Sur Ron track in his backyard. I'll actually leave a link to that video up in the corner if you guys want to check that out. Axis Cab Tacoma! Woo! So yeah, I'm not planning on jumping it anytime soon, but once I get more comfortable on it, might have to make a little visit up to Trent, hang out, ride some Sur Rons, or on Mike's new property, I think we should convince Mike to build a Sur Ron track. What do you guys think? Tell him down in the comments. Say, Mike, we're watching and we're expecting a Sur Ron track. So this road right here, washboard, would not be super fun in a vehicle, but on this, just gliding. Super comfortable. I could upgrade the front forks to like a Fox suspension. A lot of people do the rear as well. And they really dump a lot of money into these bikes. You can get a bigger battery, bigger controller from a few different companies out there. make this thing like stupid fast. But again, unless you're like racing electric bikes, I don't know why you'd really want to do that. I guess just for the fun of it, just like making the Grom faster. Why do people make Groms faster? Just because. So where I thought that road was, it was fenced off. It must be like a farmer's road or something.
What are you at on battery?
I'm at 40.
37. Like a rock in the face, so I fell back.
Oh, my bad. You need a motorcycle helmet or goggles. Alright, well I guess we'll turn around and go back.
Cool, there's nothing out here.
Yeah.
Antelope right over there.
Pronghorn. There's 3 of them. Yeah, there's a lot of antelope out here, which is cool because it's close to the house. Lots of prairie dogs. This doesn't wheelie as easily now that the battery is draining. It still comes up. Maybe it's because of the dirt too. Now I'm so used to riding all of my other motorcycles that as soon as I'm like accelerating, the throttle curve is almost instant when you're in sport mode. And then like halfway through that full acceleration, I find myself like fishing around for a gear lever down here. This is obviously not the clutch. So I feel like anyone could really ride this. If you want to learn how to ride a motorcycle or ride a dirt bike, you could probably throw pretty much anyone on here and I feel like they would be pretty damn comfortable. I'm gonna try to ride in this little wash. Oop, oop, oop. Off-road. Yeah, this thing's super fun. Now the Sur Ron basically covered like my last base of two-wheeled vehicles. I got the Ruckus for putting around town. I got the Grom for going a little bit further and doing some light off-road stuff. I have this in the middle, sort of like the Grom, but more geared towards off-road. I would much rather take this on a trail than I would the Grom, obviously. The suspension on this isn't going to bottom out. I'm only actually halfway through the travel, it looks like. So I can adjust the preload and everything up here as well. And then I got the Husky 701 for highways, longer rides. If I'm riding up into the mountains, through canyons. You could do a little bit of off-road stuff, like everything that I'm doing right now I could do on the 701, but supermoto, so street tires and wheels and whatever. So I think this might have completed my collection of motorcycles and two-wheeled vehicles for now. Not to mention the mountain bikes. You got the e-bike where you can't really ride this where you can ride e-bikes. There's still a lot of debate going on whether you can ride e-bikes on certain mountain bike trails. Do not expect to ride a Sur Ron on a mountain bike trail. I'm gonna actually advise against doing that. You're gonna rip up the trails and it's just not fair to people who build them, ride them consistently, and maintain stuff like that. So don't be a dick. If you have a Sur Ron, don't ride mountain bike trails. Everything else though is fair game. Wherever I'm off-roading in the van, off-roading in the truck, I could pop this thing off the back and take it just a little bit further. It'd be cool for scouting different areas. If a trail is looking kind of gnarly, you could throw this thing off the back of the truck and kind of go up and scope it out a little bit easier. So yeah, I think this thing definitely has a place in my lineup of motorcycles. Mike, I'm sure, is having a ton of fun on this because I don't think he's had a motorcycle in a little while. So I guess you guys can expect some more off-road content here in the future. Got a bunch of different vehicles tailored to whatever we want to do. You guys will see that here on the channel pretty soon. Anything to add before the video ends?
They're rad.
They're rad.
We're gonna take these on some van taco adventures and explore a little more with them.
Oh yeah. So Mike filmed a little vlog, kind of walk around video just like this one. Go check it out over on his channel. Once it's live, I'll link it in the description or wherever. You guys will find it. If you follow Mike, you follow me. If you follow me, you probably follow Mike too. We should just merge our YouTube channels into one. Just one big channel. I'm at 31%. You're going a little harder than me. Ooh. Alright guys, if you've got any questions on the Sur Ron X, let me know in the comments down below. Slap a like on it, share it with your friends. The more engagement we get, the more videos that are going to come out. That's all. Thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you in the next one.